The Mi A series of smartphones were the ones that brought about quality Android One offerings in the sub 20k segment with particular focus on camera and audio aspect of smartphones. Now we have its third generation in the Mi A3 which seeks to bring back some of the lost charm while reinfusing freshness to the lineup. This is Sandeep from RevAtlas and here's our review of the Mi A3. While the Mi A1 had good build quality, his design was very industrial looking. It lacked certain characteristics such as good ergonomics, refinement, and a premium look and feel which made it stand out. The A2 introduced better ergonomics as well as slightly better styling, but it too felt a bit dated compared to some of the other offerings on the market. Now with the A3, Xiaomi has taken a huge leap and has definitely hit the nail on the head in terms of providing the missing premium look and feel as well. The A3 has Corning Gorilla Glass 5 on both the sides, sandwiching the metal mid-frame, and while you could argue that the Note 7 Pro and Note 7 also have the same glass on both sides, it definitely feels and looks much better on the A3. The way the glass is curved, the overall fit and finish is definitely a notch higher and you really need to try it in order to experience it. It definitely punches above its weight. I'm also really impressed by the handling on this device. In an era where phones are getting bigger and bigger since the growth in screen size is often faster than the reduction in bezels, the A3 is very refreshing. It felt good for once to not have to do finger gymnastics or feel like my hand was in its widest position always. It felt effortless to use and for some it may be what you're looking for. You can get the A3 in 3 colors which have cool names as well. This here is the not just blue variant and as the name suggests there are hints of yellow, purple, green and other colors in a rainbow wave sort of pattern based on the way the light hits the surface. You also have kind of grey and more than white which also have similar effects. You can't really see it directly but up close you do notice that there's a certain pattern underneath the glass which gives great grip and prevents the phone from slipping out of your hands. But if you still want, the bundle case is neat too, albeit with an annoying USB port cover which I guess most of you will just cut off anyway. Next let's talk about possibly the biggest change as the A3 brings to the table, which is the display. The A3 features a Super AMOLED display for the first time in the A series and the result is much deeper blacks, higher contrast levels and better colors. It also improves the sunlight legibility by a huge margin compared to its predecessors, however there's one slight downside here. The resolution of the screen is HD+, 1560 by 720 pixels to be exact in 19.5:9 aspect ratio. So sharpness of the screen is a bit less than ideal, but for a 6-inch display it isn't too bad. It doesn't really affect the viewing experience when watching content, but reading tiny text does seem a bit off-putting. You'd be better off zooming a bit and then reading. But with that said, it isn't too bad and I'd still pick a lower resolution AMOLED display as opposed to a higher resolution IPS panel any day. The A3 also introduces a notch to a display while the previous 2 generations didn't have any. It's a small one as it's a water drop notch so it isn't very intrusive when watching content on the screen, but currently there's no option to hide the notch. Wideband level is L3 so HD quality streaming is off the books, for now at least. Another benefit to having an AMOLED panel is the ability to have an in-display fingerprint scanner. The A3 in-display fingerprint scanner is good in terms of accuracy and it works in 360 degrees. It isn't the fastest on the market but it isn't slow either and it's certainly one of the better display scanners that we've used and updates should make it only better. The face unlock feature too is accurate and works in 360 degrees but we found a bit of latency in unlocking which can be ironed out with tweaking. The A3 is powered by a Snapdragon 665 11nm octa-core chipset and comes with 4+64 and 6+128GB variants with a hybrid dual SIM slot. Performance is fluid thanks to chipset and stock Android One experience, and it comes with Android 9 Pie out of the box but should be one of the first to get Android Q as well once it releases. Gaming too was very smooth and we faced no hiccups, and the only slight area where we felt it could have been better is the camera UI which did lag at times, and perhaps this will be fixed with the future software update. Cameras have been one of the standout features on the A series and the A3 also seems promising in our time with it so far. There's a 48MP Sony IMX half-inch 586 sensor with f1.79 aperture, a secondary 8MP f2.2 ultra-wide-angle camera with 118 degrees field of view, and lastly a 2MP depth sensor. You also get a 32MP f2 front-facing camera, and here are some samples to give you an idea of the performance. We'll be publishing our camera review as well which will dive into details about the performance, and camera to API is supported out of the box so you can install Gcam mods. Audio quality is another pillar which has remained good on the A series. The headphone jack went missing on the A2 but is now back with the A3. The A3 comes with a single bottom firing speaker but is a loud one that should do well even in busy surroundings. The headphone jack is located up top next to the IR blaster. Audio quality over the wired route is also excellent with great dynamic range and clarity, but it does seem to be lacking a bit on the volume front, especially if you connect more power hungry headphones or earphones. A lower resolution screen with battery that's larger than its predecessor should mean that we have the first A series with good battery life. And yes, that's exactly the case. There's a 4000 mAh battery on the A3 that's around 1000 mAh bigger than its predecessors, and we got a screen on time of around 6 hours from a full charge, which is a good 2 hours more than what the A1 or A2 got. So it's definitely a step in the right direction, and hopefully software updates will improve the battery life further, since with the resolution I was expecting around 7 hours of screen on time. Still not bad though. The phone charges over Type-C and comes with a 10-watt charging brick, although it can do up to 18 watts. It takes around 2 hours for a full charge from 15% to 100% using an 18-watt charger. The Mi A2 brought about few changes which didn't really impress fans of the first generation. The removal of the headphone jack was one, but now that's back, and it also addresses the problem of battery life as well as improves upon the screen brightness too, which was another issue that needed addressing. Granted, there's one new drawback that has been introduced in the form of the lower screen resolution, but that's a drawback I think most can live with, and overall makes the A3 a great device, especially for those Android purists and A1 owners who felt that the A2 wasn't what they were waiting for. Thanks for watching this video. Please do hit the subscribe button if you liked it. See you again in the next one.